very bad deja vu all over again. Mr. Speaker, per Section 51 of the Kentucky Constitution and Rule 74 of the House Rules, I make a motion to divide the question per Chapter 32, Sections 310 to 313 of Mason's Manual. Section 51 of the Constitution requires that no law enacted by the General Assembly shall relate to more than one subject. Section 310 of Mason's describes the purpose of the constitutional provision on a mandatory single subject bill in a bill is, quote, to secure the independent judgment of the members on each question and prevent members from being required to vote on one proposition which they may not approve in order to secure enactment on another. When this happens, Rule 310 also permits a member to call for a bill's division so that each of its parts may be voted on separately. Senate Bill 150, I have in my notes House Bill 470, which seems apt because they're together here, includes provisions and areas of law so distinct as to require independent judgment of members on each question. Senate Bill 150 is an education bill, a licensure bill, a private insurance bill, a Medicaid bill, a civil procedure bill, each that stand as a complete proposition, such that a member might reasonably wish to vote for one and against another. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I make a motion on Senate Bill 150 to divide the question per Chapter 32, Sections 310 through 313 of Mason's Manual.
House stand at ease. Lady from Campbell 67's motion is to divide the question. Motion is non-debatable, non-amendable, requires a simple majority. Roll call machine is open for your vote. Those wishing to divide the question shall vote aye. Those nay. Roll call machine is open for your vote. All members voted. Clerk will take the roll. Being 21 members voting aye, 68 members voting nay, motion fails. Lady from Campbell.
To speak on the bill, or on the summary, I suppose. We spent a lot of last night talking about books, when most of the parents I know would be thrilled if their kids would put down a device and open a book. We haven't spent any time this session talking about the affordable housing crisis in our state, which means that kids don't have a key to a door to a home that they feel safe in. We haven't spent any time working on housing for flood victims in eastern Kentucky, some of whom are still living in FEMA trailers. We haven't addressed the teacher shortage in the state in a real tangible way so that we can get kids a solid education. We haven't addressed the shortage of mental health care providers in the state or physicians. We're just making it even harder for them to serve the children of this state. Small children are afraid of the boogeyman until they grow up and they have enough life experience to realize that the boogeyman doesn't exist. That is a lesson this body needs to learn. I, for one, am sick of wasting our time on political point boogeymen for your re-election campaigns while we harm real Kentuckians. I'll say it again. If you are queer, if you are trans, if you just feel slighted by this body, I hope you hear my voice. There are those of us here who are fighting for what is right in this state. We are fighting for those without a voice. We worked hard to get elected so we could stand on this floor to be the people in this moment of darkness who plant seeds of light for a more equitable, fair, just, and loving future. You are needed, you are necessary, and you are loved unconditionally by at least me, and I know many others. I am sorry of the shameful acts of this body on this day.
Chair recognizes the lady from Fayette 75 for discussion of the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I ask the sponsor a question?
He will yield to a question.
Mr. Sponsor, do you acknowledge that this meeting of the Education Committee was held in violation of the Open Meetings Act? And if not, please defend using some of the statute.
Lady from Fayette, your questions are limited to the matter before the body, which is House Committee Substitute 1.
May I rephrase?
You may ask another question.
Thank you. The House Committee Substitute, which is being brought before the body at this moment, do you acknowledge that it was held and voted on in a meeting which had inadequate notice given to the public?
Lady from Fayette, again, your questions are limited to the content of the matter before the body, which is the content of House Committee Substitute 1.
May I speak on the bill?
You may speak on the bill.
There's a reason we have an open meetings law, and it's because this is not good government. This is not how we're supposed to do this, and we all should know better. It is absolutely heartbreaking as a freshman legislator to come here and watch the way you disrespect this process. Not only do you disrespect the process, you disrespect the Commonwealth, and you disrespect the people of the Commonwealth. It makes me not want to be here. I am ashamed to be a part of this. I will vote no. I wish that some of you would look in the mirror, because you should be ashamed, and I know you're not. This bill is full of absolute bigotry. It is not what it pertains to be, what it claims to be. We are attacking a group of vulnerable people with no recourse, because we are not giving them an avenue to participate in the process, because we're calling late meetings and sneaking bills in. This is not good government. There is so much to say on how wrong this is. I'm sure that lots of my colleagues feel the same, and I'm sure that even among the majority, there are members who know that this is not how we are supposed to do things, and that this bill is a mess. It is full of different topics. It is all over the place. It is untimely brought. And it is nothing more than hate speech turned into legislation. I cannot support the committee substitute. I will not support the bill, and I urge anyone of conscience to follow.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson 35 for discussion of the matter.